am awakened by the sun blaring rudely in my face. Which fucker left the damn window open? I would really like to know and give that person a delightful piece of my mind. It's not like I hated the sun, but it's in my face rudely, and I am not a morning person. I try to move only to realize I am being held tight to a chest. I mean a very yummy muscular chest by a muscular arm. I look up only to be met with the adorable sleeping face of my mate. Ugh, sleep really does stuff to people. He looks so angelic, but you and I both know he is nothing like that. I throw my head back on my pillow as the events of last night rushed back to me. I felt bad for walking out on Alpha River's mum and pack, but I couldn't help it. My father is a touchy subject, and I didn't like the idea of someone talking about him as if they really knew what he was or where he was. It is a guarded secret that his children, mate, and a few select people and council elders of my birth pack will take to their graves. He may be dead to the world, but he wasn't dead to me and our family, and I won't take it from anyone who thinks otherwise. I was clearing my mind when I heard people moving to what I guessed as the training grounds at this time of the morning. Gently grabbing my pillow, I swiftly moved from under Alpha River's arm before replacing my body with the pillow. With a soft kiss on his forehead, I rushed to the washroom where I quickly brushed my teeth and pulled my hair into a loose bun before going to take a leak, and that is when I realized I was still in yesterday's clothing. Quickly shrugging out of them, I dropped them in the laundry basket before looking round for my suitcases. I found them all right, but they were empty. I opened the second door after the washroom door only to find out it led to a rather extravagant walk-in closet. I walked further into it and was amazed to find my clothes arranged just how I liked it. Color coordinated. Though there are not that many colors to put them in. My clothes come in specific colors such as black, white, gray, ash, maroon, and dark red. I hate bright stuff. I quickly searched for my black training gear, and as soon as I found them, I tucked them on before pulling on my favorite combat boots to finish my look. After checking my outfit and liking what I saw, my tattoos out for display and making me look sinfully sexy and intimidating, I tiptoed out of the room so as to not disturb Alpha River. I closed the door and turned only to be met with the creepy beta seizing me up and down like a piece of meat. Having had enough, I drew a fist and socked him heavily in the jaw and smiled when I heard the satisfying crack of his jaw breaking. Taking a step closer to him, I lifted his head up so he could meet my eyes and said, "I may be a woman, but I would not let you disrespect me. Look at me like that again and I will make sure you never see anything else for the rest of your life again. Are we clear? Crystal." "I'm sorry, Luna," the beta replied with his eyes cast down in shame. "You better be. Where were you going?" "To wake Alpha up. It's time for training." "Yes, I know, but he's sleeping." "Let him. I will be supervising the training today." I may have surprised the beta because his head snapped back up to look at me, and it was amusing. The way his eyes widened with shock. So much that he stammered out, Really? "Yes, Matthews. Now let's go." Lead the way we turned only to realize we had an audience. I recognized the men as the entourage that came to my former home, but I saw some staring at me with shock and admiration, which I'm sure was because of my tattoos. Because it took a lot of courage and wit to get one not to talk about the thousands scattered all over my arms and chest, while some looked outrightly intimidated. Good. I may be a bitch, but I was nobody's bitch. With a curt nod of my head as a greeting in their direction, to which they responded with verbal morning greetings, before falling in tow after me as the Matthews led the way to the training grounds. We walked in silence towards the training ground, but before we could take a turn into it, I heard the same whinny voice that bitched about me yesterday say, "Alpha is late for training for the first time today. I'm pretty sure it's because of that ugly bitch he came with yesterday. That bitch looks like all she can do is roll in the sheets with Alpha and look pretty." Ugh. Before Matthews and the others could react, I raised a hand and signaled for them to stay put just before we heard another rather warm voice say, "Just shut up, Cindy. You are just jealous." Shaking my head, I squared my shoulders and straightened my spine before walking forward into the training grounds. The whole place fell quiet so much that you could hear pin drop as I and my entourage made way to the front, where a rather buff man stood chatting animatedly with a young lad. Matthew stopped in front of him and moved to the side so I was directly in front of the buff man. Clearing his throat rather noisily, he caught the man's attention. The buff man turned only to cuss out. "What the fuck happened to your face, Matthews?" he asked with genuine concern. Matthew peeked a glance at me and gulped when he found me staring heatedly at him. Sighing softly, he whispered, "I disrespected Luna this morning and she thumped me in the jaw. The buff man turned to face me with wide eyes and back to Matthews before chuckling softly. Well, I will be damned. Pleased to meet you, Luna. I am Jeremiah. Jeremiah Montego, the Delta and head warrior, and this is my mate Stephanie, he said whilst nodding in the direction of the beautiful bashful woman that stood beside him before reaching out to shake my hand. Meeting him halfway, I clasped my hand into this, and after a very firm handshake, I answered softly. The pleasure is all mine. My name is Chaos, and it's nice to meet you and your mate. I turned to face his mate, who was smiling softly but shyly at me. I returned it with a small smile of my own to put her at ease around me. I love your tattoos, Luna. They are beautiful, she said quietly. Why thank you, Stephanie, but trust me, they hurt like a bitch, but I can't complain now. It was worth it. Don't try to get one. It fucking hurts. I answered rather seriously as I remembered my plight, causing them to laugh. Where's Alpha, Luna? Jeremiah asked. He's sleeping, but I will be in charge of training today. I want to see what I will be working with, I answered sternly. Really? You train? Stephanie asked in awe. Yes. Ever since I could walk and talk, I said, causing those around to gasp. Don't fret. Now time is a-wasting, so let's get started, I said before turning around to face the crowd. Matthews led me to a small platform which I mounted, and after clearing my throat softly and pulling on my blank mask, I started saying, Good morning to you all. I know you must be wondering where your Alpha is. Well, he's not feeling well, so he will be a little late, but till he arrives I am in charge. If you have any questions you should ask now before training begins. I watched as about 5 hands were raised and picked the youngest to start. What is your name and who are you to the Alpha? She asked timidly. My name is Chaos and I am his mate. Next question. Are you sure you can train us? How long have you been training? A rather young but muscular man asked curiously. I am confident I can, and I have been training since I could walk and talk. My mother was hard that way. Next question. Are you sure you are the Alpha's mate and not his flavor of the month? A familiar whiny voice asked, and I realized who she was. Letting out a spine-shivering laugh, I said, You must be Cindy. You have been bitching about me since the first day I got here, and you don't know me from Adam. Now let everyone here listen, for I will say this only once. I may be a bitch, but I am nobody's bitch. I have Alpha blood running through my veins, and though I may be female, I take disrespect from no one. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to fight, since you think I'm not fit to be your Alpha's mate and your Luna, and the only thing I can do is roll between sheets. I know respect isn't given but earned, and I couldn't agree more. So as soon as I get off this stage, we will fight it out of our system. And I will make sure to beat you into submission, since you refuse to see the fine line between me and you. But before I get off this stage, there are 2 males that also disrespected me yesterday. For your information, my ass and hips are not for you to get off on, and you don't have to wait for me to get naked so you could get hard, because it would never happen. It was a blatant disrespect to me as a woman and your Luna, and like I said before, I don't take disrespect lightly. So step out and move to the front with Cindy before my wolf comes to play, because then it will be bloody and she leaves no one alive. I watched blankly, though I was smiling inside, as Cindy and 2 other guys stepped out of the crowd that was growling threats at them. The she-wolves mostly. Though they tried to appear strong, I certainly didn't miss how they trembled or the fear that rolled off of them. Whilst the pack watched on with disbelief, curiosity, shock, disappointment, and respect. I turned only to find Jeremiah, Matthews, and the rest of the warriors staring at me with pride and respect, and with a nod of acknowledgement, I turned and jumped down the makeshift platform. We are wolves, and this type of behavior was rather common. But that didn't mean it was appropriate. You turn a blind eye on this kind of behavior once, and the culprit will think they can repeat it anytime and anywhere without consequence. And soon, others will start to follow in their footsteps, and it automatically becomes a habit. I can't have that, so I am going to make an example out of them so the rest will know that respect for all in any shape or form is required of them, as well as utmost discipline and control.